But anyway, guys, we got a very important episode today. We got Thor in the house, man, and Thor is, you know, an older gentleman, been around, very durable guy. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. And he's probably one of the best people when it comes to giving young men advice on trades and different types of fields and disciplines. You guys have been asking for this one, man. So for all you guys out there that want to, you know, find an alternative method between going to college or whatever, this is a very viable route where you can make quite a bit of money. I think there's quite a bit of skepticism and rumors. Oh yeah, you can't make that much money doing blue collar work. That's a lie, and we're going to talk about that here in detail with a bunch of different trades. But before we do that, Thor, welcome to the show. We know who you are. The people might not. Can you please introduce yourself to the people?
Well, thank you for having me back, man. It's been a couple years, and I appreciate coming on and talking with you guys. My name is Thor. It really is my name. I was born with that name. I don't have a pseudonym, so let's get started there. I'm 61, soon to be 62 year old man that's been in the power line trades for 39 years, working with high voltage power lines, flying on helicopters, bare-handing 500,000 volts in a steel suit from helicopters, things like that. I'm the guy that comes out with a crew and puts poles back up after a hurricane, particularly there in Florida.
Welcome to the CEO Network by Freshprinceceo, your gateway to unprecedented success in 2024 and beyond. Join a community that thrives on innovation, collaboration, and growth. By becoming part of the CEO Network, you gain access to invaluable resources, expert insight, and a network of like-minded individuals. Elevate your business strategies, enhance your leadership skills, and gain the leverage needed to thrive in a dynamic landscape of 2024. Don't miss out on this opportunity to shape your future. Join the CEO Network today and position yourself for unparalleled success in the years to come. Your journey to success starts here. Click the link in the description.
I think especially with, you know, these Gen Zers, you know, they asked young men, hey, what's the job that you want to do? And everyone answered influencer. And that's actually a problem because the reality is not everyone has the charisma, not everyone has the ability, maybe not everyone has the resources, etc., to blow up on the internet. And the whole purpose of being a big celebrity or on the internet or whatever it may be is because not many people can do it. So most people won't. So people need a more viable way to earn an income and get a skill set that will actually be able to allow them to get into something. And then, hey, like I said before, you can get into this trade, make some money, and then start a side business or whatever. And you've been able to do that yourself.
Yeah, I can tell you a little bit about that.
Yeah,
please. When you get into a skilled trade like this or a craftsman trade, you know, if you're frugal with your money, you can really leverage that. I know we all talk about side hustles today, but I'll just describe, you know, how I got started on that and how that made me into a very secure position where I'm at now. You know, in 1991, I made a mistake. I got burned by 12,000 volts. I don't know if you can see, but see the scars I carry to this day. Yeah. And I thought I had lost my trade. I'd already been a journeyman for several years. Fortunately, through modern reconstructive surgery, I was able to come back fully with very small, you know, inconveniences today. But I trained myself on how to do websites, and I taught myself how to draw pictures. And I leveraged that into an online retail business for power linemen and ran that business for a long time. But I also saved money from being a power lineman, working overtime. When we work overtime, we get paid double time. Took that money and I also bought, well, let's just say half a dozen houses and paid them off. And went into a real estate as well over the course of the next 15 years.
Nice.
And then, so with those two businesses in place, I was also able to leverage that into certain investments, which I see that Myron's along the same journey now.
Yeah.
So it's smart to do things like that, because if you have issues later in life, you never know what's going to happen. To take something away, at least I always have this skilled trade to fall back on in some capacities, whether it's consulting, training, or actually doing the labor. Sure. So power lineman is a offshoot of the electrical trades. It's the oldest of the electrical trades, and we're able to build these lines and get power everywhere. You have to know some carpentry. You have to know mathematics. You have to understand how electricity at least works when it's being transmitted and distributed. You also have to have some social skills because you're going to work on crews where guys' lives are in your hands. So you also have to have some EMT skills because it's still rather high injury rate. There's only 121,000 power linemen in the U.S. and Canada right now.
Oh, wow.
And because the injury rate, we do have defibrillators, we have the EMT training, and our injury rate is higher than police and fire combined, and they outnumber us by nearly 6 to 1. Yes.
Wow.
The only trades that are a little bit more dangerous is logging, deep sea mixed gas divers and welders, and those crab fishermen. Those are more dangerous than even military jobs. So it's interesting to note that it's that dangerous, but power linemen are rather ubiquitous because we just get the power delivered, and you don't really think about us until you need the power. What you don't get in there is that we're short power linemen right now. And so most linemen work 10 to 12 hours a day, and they work weekends too. Nearly all of the working crew members that I'm aware of out here in California, they make about $88.21 an hour. Okay. When they work overtime, it's all double time.
Wow.
So that puts it right around $162 an hour. And so 200 to 300K is relatively easy to do here in California. Okay. Power linemen are old like me. Nearly 40% of us will retire by 2030. There's only 22,000 I'm looking at right here. They're journeyman power linemen, and it's pretty much all men. It's because we have to get up early and we have to stay late. Sometimes we work 24 hours a day for a week at a shot. They may fly us to Florida. They may fly us to Puerto Rico when the storm hit Puerto Rico. I know plenty of guys that were there for 3 months, and the whole time they were there, every hour of the day, they were paid double time and their meals and their hotel. Those guys walked away with a load of cash. So the opportunities are there. We have trouble actually getting young men to want to come in and take some of the trade schools and apply for these apprenticeships. Mostly because they're not aware, or the work is difficult. It's hard. You're working in the rain, the snow. It's very cold or very hot. So if you're tough enough to do that, you can really do well in this industry.
So, Thor, how does someone become a power linesman? How do they go through it? You mentioned before a 4-year apprenticeship, but can you take us step by step how someone would actually get into this career field? Because obviously, yeah, it's a little dangerous, but I'm sure people here are like, damn, like, okay, I could. That's quite a bit of money, or more. Starting. In California, they're making $200 to $300 pretty easily. How does someone get into this field?
You can apply at the local utilities for what's called a groundman or a laborer position. That's very good. That gets your foot in the door. Or the best way to do it is to obtain a commercial driver's license and or other certifications, such as a crane operator certification, heavy equipment operator certification. All of these are trades in amongst themselves, but it gets you in a position where you're extremely valuable and you'll get into an apprenticeship much, much faster. So once you've done that, you can do that and apply and get an apprenticeship that way through the unions, such as the IEBEW locals. They all offer training programs, which while you're training, they pay you as well. Okay. And then the other way is to go to one of the national lineman college schools, which you can earn an associate degree in science by going to these schools. And they also prepare you, learn the language of line work, the tools, the equipment. They get you the certifications too. Many of them will loan you the money to go to school and then do a job placement.
They might be living at home with their mom, might not have so much money right now. They want to get into something quickly and just start making some money, pay some bills, etc. Maybe they can get into something quickly and then build their way up, right, and get other certifications as they're climbing. What do you think's something that a guy can get into fairly quickly and in the blue collar world?
Okay, that's a really good question as well. And one of the quickest things you can do is be willing to move anywhere the work is. If you can do that, let's just start with the list. Okay. A CDL, commercial driver's license, is the quick. You can get it done in less than a month. Okay. You can get your CDL and you can start driving now for decent money. Okay. That is the first step. The next step, it'll take you a few more months. You get a crane cert, and those guys get paid really well. Easy for them to pull in 60 to 70 grand right out the bat, and they don't have to do a ton of training. They just need to be certified and start making application at these crane companies.
Nice.
That are out there, such as Bragg Crane, Hill, all those sort of things. They're all online. You can find them. So that's one way. Another way is welding. You can get that in months, and you can become a certified welder and start becoming a fabricator. Another 50 to 80 grand right out the get-go. There's others. I just had a guy out to do a service on my heater and air conditioner. He was independent, worked for himself, and it's $185 an hour.
Wow.
So HVAC is a good one, and there's trade schools for that that'll get you in and out of there in 4 to 6 months. Mostly because of the rules of plumbing, which you guys know the 2 rules of plumbing, right?
Yeah.
Number 1 is shit rolls downhill. First rule of plumbing. You know the rule number 2 of plumbing?
What?
Don't bite your fingernails. Now you know why we're allergic to plumbing. But plumbers make even better money when they work for themselves. There is a plumber that has this mansion 7 miles from me that has a private lake.
Yeah, I believe it. And everyone thinks that plumbers are brokies. Like, bro, when we bring girls on this podcast and they shit on blue collar workers or plumbers or whatever, I'm like, you stupid bimbo, you don't know anything.
Yeah, they say I won't date a guy that works for waste management or plumbing. I won't date that guy.
Yeah, and I'm like, money. Yeah, they make quite a bit of money.
Well, Thor, just to be a devil's advocate here, you might not like plumbers, but guess what? The power's in your hands, not their hands.
I love these guys too, because when your shit gets backed up, plumber's golden.
Yeah.
But so he listed, let's say you're a beginner, you want to make money right now.
CDL seems to be
CDL, crane operator. What else? You listed as well.
Yep.
HVAC.
Apply
and a welder.
Plumber too.
Yep.
And all of these, it sounds to me, all of these certs you can get in less than 6 months.
It's pretty
good.
Yes,
sir. Sure. Commercial driver's license is going to be the base. And the only difference between the States and Canada right now is how they test for it. But they're all are DOT regulated licenses, which means the Department of Transportation. So they all have to follow the same basic safety rules, inspections, and logging when they're driving. There's a lot around that revolves around safety. And that's what these CDL schools will teach you. So around $2,500 to $4,000, you can sign up for one of these CDL schools, and they also have job placement too. You really need to do that. You could take the tests on your own, but now who do you apply to, right? You could drive from anybody like a UPS, or you can drive for heavy equipment where you're actually delivering the heavy equipment. If you want to become a heavy equipment operator, the first thing you have to do is get a CDL. So a CDL is the basic license that you would need to get into the trades that require heavy equipment, large trucks, any sort of commercial vehicles that are larger than a pickup truck. You're going to need a CDL. Okay. And that's across the entire nation. And they do get paid much better than just your common laborer that doesn't have one.
Okay.
What if I have my own truck and I want to get into it? Would that help me get a job faster if I have my own truck?
Such as an 18-wheeler?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's owner operators make very good money, especially if they're willing to travel across country, because everybody wants to travel local. But I've known a couple of CDL guys that actually took out a loan, bought their own truck, and then, found contracts, did their driving. Some of them would contract you like a UPS or Walmart. They still have owner operators, and they pay them a premium because they own their own truck and they carry their own insurance. And then I've seen those guys actually, rent their trucks out to another driver and then go buy another truck and then go buy another truck.
Wow.
So the sky's the limit if you want to get out there and grind,
I've seen people come from nothing, buy a lawnmower, a weed whacker, buy some gas, and they cut lawn, basically landscaping.
Okay.
How profitable is that, you would think,
landscape
for most people? Because I think it's an easy entry level to get into as a trade.
Yep.
You can do it yourself. But how is that profitable, you would say, for yourself from what you've seen, landscaping?
Out here, it's tremendous. There's a ton of opportunity if you want to do landscaping, particularly maintenance and construction. Here in California, nearly everywhere you go is HOAs, and they have requirements for landscaping. Somebody's got to maintain it. Somebody's got to build it.
Yeah.
And this is nearly everywhere in California. Those regulations have to be met. So that's really interesting you say landscaping, because there's a lot of them here, and you need to understand not only how to do your job, but traffic control, permits, all that stuff. So they get paid pretty well. They really do out here in California. So that's a brilliant insight, actually. You can start with almost nothing right there. Just a willingness to go and work.
And the good part is you could be illegal immigrant and still get the job. Just saying.
Yeah, I mean,
That's true.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, you guys know that even here in California, you can still be an immigrant and get a CDL.
Really?
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
In California, I believe it. You can get a driver's license in certain states without being
Look, Thor, I want to work smart, not hard. I want the easiest trade possible to make money, work overtime, and get out. What trade is that, you would say?
First of all, I don't have that philosophy to work smarter than work harder. I think it's bullshit that we've been fed. You know, it's nice to work smart, but the reality is, and you know this is true, you have to work fucking hard. And you've forgotten that in this nation.
We talked about welding before. How can someone become a welder? Because that's something that, you know, is always in demand. A lot of people, you know, kind of somewhat know about it, but you can make quite a bit of money doing it as well. How is someone getting into welding?
Okay, so this is really cool. You can get into welding really cheap because there's lots of YouTubes that go through the certification process. You just need access to a welder, and then you need access to someone that will test you.
So will having a CDL increase your likelihood of landing a welding gig as well?
Absolutely, because they need guys to be mobile, and some of them need to take a commercial truck that's over 26,000 pounds. It has all the generators, the welders, the gases on board so that they can mobile weld. So the CDL, once you have it, it's really, really, really worth it because you can maintain it easily just for every 4 years you got to pay a re-up.
Wow.
And if you decide to get a hazmat certification, you can double your salary.
Wow.
That's a little extra schooling, but that's just some of the things you could consider. Yeah, or sooner. Sure. Here's the thing. And I tell all men this, and everybody should know this. You have to be useful. I mean, this even applies to relationships. You guys talk about relationships all the time and the girls and all this. They need to be useful. If you can be useful in the trades, somebody's going to pick you up because you're going to make them money.
That's true.
So that's what you have to do.